Good morning. How is everybody doing? Can you hear me?
Hi, good morning. I'm okay, thanks.
Hi,
You?
Sharon.
Yeah. Morning, Michael. Morning, Sharon.
Hi, Colleen. So Rory is unable to join us this morning. He's got some other commitments, so he will watch the recording later. And Diana is also unable to attend today. So it's just going to be the three of us, but that's totally fine, right? Okay, so as usual, let's just start the session with a few minutes of coming to the present moment. And in order to do so, try and find some comfort in your seat. Bring some length to your spine. So try and sit up straight from the base of your spine all the way through to the crown of your head. But make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Check in with the body now as you settle into your posture. And if it feels comfortable for you, you can just bring your eyes to close. Otherwise, just a soft gaze is fine. Once you've settled into your posture, start to bring your awareness to your body. See if you can identify any sensations anywhere in the body. Right now, my neck has a slight bit of discomfort in it. So I'm just bringing my attention to that, identifying what it is I'm experiencing. Trying to describe a little bit to myself. And then in that moment, I practice acceptance and say, okay, well, that's how it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm not going to judge it or wish for it to be different. I just accept it. And then I move on and see if there's anything else I can identify. I also use the body scan method to notice parts of the body that feel good, that just feel relaxed, or where there's no sensations at all, which is also a good thing. So doing that now, just working your way through the body. And then start to listen out for your breath. So we breathe through the nose and we don't force the breath. It's nice and easy. And try and concentrate now to listen out to that very slight whisper of a sound that comes from the breathing through the nose. Begin to breathe A little bit longer on the inhale and slower on the exhale. Notice with each breath how the body just softens a little bit. Let's take a nice deep breath in together now. And we let it all out with a sigh. Another one like that. Deep breath in, filling up the body with air. And sigh it out. And take your time to come back into the space. Gently opening your eyes when you're ready. Good. Okay, so we're in week 6. It's amazing that it's gone so fast. We've passed the halfway mark now. And I really truly hope at this point, this halfway mark, we have started to experience something, and it can be anything, experience some sort of shift. And even if that shift is not always positive, because sometimes we have to move through struggle to get to relief. So as long as it's some sort of shift that we're experiencing, then that's good enough, and that is progress. So I'm hoping that by this time at halfway, that there is some shift, that there is some difference within you regarding perhaps thoughts or the awareness deepening of yourself, and maybe starting to see the patterns that you've been observing. I also hope that at this point we are starting to get the hang of the non-judgment, just a little bit, because that is hard. But that compassion, the self-compassion and non-judgment are really strong principles that we want to work on, and we need to continue to work on. So I'm hoping that there is a little bit of that you have been able to feel up to now. Week 6 is all about now taking a view of all the observations that we've made, all the patterns we've recognized, and start to pull out some of the more significant ones that you would like to take forward into the next phases, into the healing and transformation phases. And when we do that, we are also letting a lot of them be. So it's just the ones that we feel that are holding us back or doing us harm, or perhaps doing others harm. So we want to hone in on a few of those to take forward. And then for the others, we are saying to ourselves, the fact that we've got to a point of acceptance, compassionate acceptance, and perhaps understanding the source a little bit better of where it came from, we are able to let it go, and that's good enough. We're able to live and accept and let go. So the few that we identify to take forward, we'll take into week 7 and have a look at some specific interventions, rituals, practices that you may want to explore going forward to work on those areas and traits that you have identified for adjusting and healing. So that's what week 6 is about, is coming up with a bit of an inventory of the areas that we want to work on. And we're not yet trying to address them in any way. We're just creating that inventory and taking time to sit with all the observations through all the weeks, whether that be something that you identified in the well-being balance exercise, maybe nutrition, maybe energy exchange, maybe what media you consume, or it could be how you interact with others. Maybe you've started to hone in on the patterns. It's this person or this grouping of people that I struggle with or am at ease with. So wherever it comes from, the thoughts, the interactions, the well-being mapping, we want to take an inventory from all of those and say, okay, which ones are we going to work on? And of course, we don't want to have too many that we're trying to deal with at once. So we need to be careful and contemplate deeply which are the ones that we feel are most significant. And the fact that we then choose to leave some as they are doesn't mean that we're not already healing. So even though we're going into the healing phase now, the phases that we've been through, the process we've been through, where we've deepened our self-awareness. Self-awareness is a healing intervention on its own. When you add to that the self-compassion and working on not being judgmental and not being hard on yourself, that is healing as well. So although we're going into the healing phase now, we have been healing as we take these steps in the last 5 weeks. So it's not that we're leaving areas unattended, unhealed. We have been healing. We just want to focus now on the more significant ones. And then when it gets to week 7, when we actually start introducing some healing modalities that you guys will explore in terms of what you feel is right for you, you may then even narrow the list down to 1 or 2 things, and even 1 is good enough. So yeah, so that's where we are now, and the reflections are about the process of getting to that inventory. Yeah. And the meditations remain at 30 minutes if you've got to 30 minutes already. But it stays at 30, so we don't move past that. And there is a YouTube, one of my YouTube meditations that is also an option. It's a gratitude meditation, and practicing gratitude is one of the most profound and powerful practices that bring about relief. If I'm going through a tough time, when I feel like I'm a little bit off center, I practice gratitude, and it really, really, really makes a difference. Just to notice what you have already and not focus on what you don't have. Focus on what is right and what is, and not rather than what is not right. Focus on what is working rather than what is not working. That practice can be really powerful. So there's a gratitude meditation in there as well. Okay, so I want to just pause there to do 2 things. To do a bit of a check-in, and then also see if there are any questions regarding the week that's come. that we're gonna embark on now. So just from my high level explanation, if you've looked at the content documents, that's great. Then maybe you really have some questions, or if you're comfortable and it all seems to make sense, then that's also fine. So just quickly, let's just talk about how we're feeling right now in this moment, and then if you have any questions about week 6, then let's deal with those now. So for me, just checking in, I'm feeling a whole bunch of things, and you know, the contradictions are there right now. Feeling a little bit unsettled in some ways, but also feeling good about other things. I'm excited about the fact that I've made application for a 2-year postgraduate mindfulness interventions certification through Stellenbosch University. I don't know if I'm in yet, but I'm excited just that I've made the application. It took me a while to contemplate whether that's what I want to do, because it will take quite a bit of my time. And a lot of the work is done, most of the work is done at home. So, you know, in terms of how that impacts the family, and so a lot of thought went into it, but I'm quite excited about that. So if it doesn't happen, if they say, no, well, actually, you're not accepted, then that's fine, because I went through the process at least of making application, and there is always a reason. There's a good reason for why things don't happen as maybe you wanted them to be. So that's where I'm at. So you're welcome to pop online and unmute and just say how you're doing in this moment, and follow that with any questions about week 6. There is a mindfulness pain approach practice that we do, and now that you've been practicing self-awareness, connecting with your breath, it may be something you want to try. It doesn't have to be anything significant. It can be just for dealing with pain. I like to even use it for emotional discomfort, right? But how you do it is you get yourself into a place of reasonable stillness, sitting or lying, and start with just calming yourself with a bit of breath control and connection with breath. And then what you do is you take your attention to the pain. And if there's pain in multiple areas, focus on one area, right? And try and really become detailed in your connection with that pain. So describe it to yourself, like in a lot more animation than you would normally. Stay with that pain while you're identifying it, describing it, give it a color, give it a name, do whatever it takes to become really drawn into the pain. So what we usually are advised to do is to try and forget about it, try and take your mind away from it. We want to lean into the pain, dive deep into the detail of it, right? And you're there for maybe a few minutes while you're doing this, and just keep saying, I'm breathing and I'm breathing. So breathing, identify. Then switch your attention to a part of you, part of your body, or part of your emotion or your spirit that feels good or is not with pain, or indifferent. But just try and take your attention then to a place that feels good, right? I sometimes use my hands, because my hands, I always relax my hands. I sometimes connect, I feel the space between my eyebrows. That's a place where I often draw my attention to, so I meditate. Sometimes it's just in the belly. I'm feeling nice and relaxed in the belly. Wherever it is, it'll be unique for you, but take your attention then to this place that is not with pain and actually feels good. Do the same thing. Become very detailed about what it is. Describe that area. Describe the feeling of warmth or of comfort, even if it means it's you saying there's no pain there. Wow, that's wonderful. But really try and get descriptive around it. Okay, again, just a few minutes, always with breath, and then move back to the pain, right? And do that process again, and then move back. So you oscillate between the two. When you do that, you will notice after a few of the backwards and forths that when you come back to the pain, it is slightly less intense, slightly less intense. It's not about the pain going away. It's just because you're finding the balance in the body, the contradictions in the body, and you are starting to lean into the pain rather than shy away from it. Lean into the good. It's quite a wonderful little practice to do, and as I say, you can also do it with emotion. So, for example, if there is a time when you're feeling scared, anxious, really not upbeat, go there, describe it, breathe with it, try and be animated, give it a name, like really get into it, and then take your attention to an emotion that perhaps was from earlier, like try and think of a joyous moment that you had earlier in the day, get into that feeling, bring it back into your awareness, describe it, feel it, and then move back to the anxiety or the self-doubt or the sadness, and move backwards and forwards. Okay. So I wanted to, before I ask you about last week and how it went and if there was any, if there's any feedback, I just want to talk about last week and to reiterate the key principles of last week. So just in case you still want to bring some of that in to this week. So one of the key issues that people tend to have when they are going through a bit of a self-discovery, a self-healing, a transformation is a tendency to move too quickly from I've identified these traits, these thoughts, these behaviors, and I want to fix them. And that impatience to get to, I want it to be gone, I want to be different, I want to think differently, is what causes a lot of frustration, disappointment, because they've skipped that part of compassionate acceptance, building a solid foundation of compassionate acceptance. So if you move too quickly, you may find you come all the way back. So that was one of the key principles. And that pausing to build that foundation of compassionate acceptance can be challenging for most, actually, but it is important. And so if you still need to work on that, keep doing that. In fact, it's something that you must remind yourself all the time. So build your foundation of compassionate acceptance. Then the other principle was that we attempted to identify a source. Now, when we identify a source, it's not about shaming or blaming. It's not about the person or the event that you connect your trait with. It's not really about that. It's about getting to a point where we say, okay, I see where that came from. I now know, and perhaps I've always known, but now I've actually honed into the source, the originating trigger or the pattern and behavior of one of my caregivers that now I have adopted, that I'm struggling with. Having that source just allows us to let go easier, because you can say to yourself, this is not mine. This is something that was given to me, either forced onto me, or I've adopted it, or that event created this behavior or trait in me because it was a way for me to feel safe. But I don't need that anymore. I don't need to feel safe from that event 20 years ago or whatever. I now need to be free. So by knowing that it came from the external into you, allows you to say, I'm going to release it. So that is the key principle about the source. Not often are we able to identify the source, and that's also okay. So we try and trace it back, but if it's not possible, we let it go, and we work on our own healing, regardless of where it came from. I want to share a hypothetical story. So in Cape Town, there is a prison called Pollsmoor Prison, and it's renowned for its really hardened criminals. And in this prison is a man who has committed heinous crimes, multiple murders, rape, really, really heinous crimes, and is known for, when he committed those crimes, there was no empathy for the victims. A lot of brutality, a lot of assaults in addition to the murders. So there's this person in this prison, right? And if I had to ask you in that moment, just hearing about him in the prison and the crimes he'd committed, maybe you read the full list of all the crimes that he committed, and these detailed descriptions of how brutal these crimes were. If I had to ask you, what do you feel about that person at that time? It would potentially be feelings of anger and disgust, and mostly really, really strong negative feelings. And that's to be understood. If I had to say to you, let's tell a bit of story about this person, and let's just say that he grew up on the Cape Flats, which in an area that was really, really renowned for its gang violence. He was fatherless at the age of 2. His father died in a gang-related incident. His mom became addicted to alcohol and drugs, and brought many men home. She became a prostitute to finance her addiction. This young boy at the age of 2, from that age, witnessed all the coming and goings of these men, the drug and alcohol abuse, the violence. Often her clients would physically abuse her. At the age of 10, he decided to go and rather live on the streets, because he knew intuitively, even at the age of 10, that his home was not safe for him, that he would be potentially safer out on the streets. Out in the streets, living in the cold, he came across other street kids. And at the time when he went out in the streets, he had this intention in his mind that he was going to live a better life, that he was going to find something different to what he had experienced in his young life. He even had this intention that the men, first of all, his dad had left, and the men that came into his mom's home were not good, and he wanted to be a good man. But in order to survive, he found a home and a family with other street kids, and eventually there was some level of petty crime going on with them. And this just escalated. And eventually he joined a gang because that was the only way. Actually, he was going to be safe from the environment, from the dynamics within the space that he was at. When he got to about 15, 16 as a teenager, he started to see similar traits, men abusing women, men, using their power in ways that were hurtful, and he felt that same sadness from when he saw his mother being abused. And he had this anger that came within him, and he went from this initial thought of wanting to be a good man to wanting revenge and wanting to hurt the men that had hurt his mom and that had killed his dad. And that's how it started. So he went on a revenge crusade. And there was something in him that, as part of his role within the gang, he became this person that was not afraid to do the killing. And he put his hand up and said, I will do it, and he used that to release his anger. And so it went on and on. And so that role of murder became his identity. The role of aggression became his primary way of living. So there was a 2-year-old boy who, because of circumstances, because of the environment, because of tragedy, went down this path. And when we hear that story, and then we go back to this guy in prison that's committed all these crimes, there's a level of empathy that we feel if we think about that 2-year-old boy, that 10-year-old boy that then went out on the streets, that 16-year-old boy that started to see all this violence against women, and it changes the picture. It changes the picture, and it does not mean that the crimes were not heinous. It does not mean that all the things that he did to get into prison were not wrong. None of that is different. It's just how we feel for that person, the inner person, for that 2-year-old that's still in there crying out to be nurtured. So I tell this story because it is the same with ourselves. We are not perfect, and we ourselves have done many things that we feel are bad, or that we would have done differently in hindsight. Maybe it was just the words we used with a family member. Maybe it was the way we reacted in the workplace to somebody. Maybe it was the way we treated ourselves. There are many things that we have done that were not perfect. And we need to practice compassion, and we need to understand that imperfection is okay, right? So that we can get to a point of saying, I am worthy of letting these things go. I am worthy of making shifts that are good for me and good for others. I am worthy of that, despite everything that I may have done or not done. I am worthy of taking steps in the right direction. I'm worthy of finding my true self. I'm worthy of finding my 2-year-old again. So that's a lot to do with where we've come from in weeks 4 and 5. Acceptance, compassionate acceptance. Trying not to judge when we hone in on our imperfections. Okay, so I wanted to just share that to illustrate the importance of the sitting in a compassionate place, regardless of what it is that we see in ourselves, before we take steps to move forward. And then on that note, I want to say to you guys, last week, happy to hear any feedback. Maybe it was about a video, or maybe it was about how we're doing with the meditations. Are they starting to get a little bit easier? Are we getting into the hang of reflecting, your journaling? Very powerful healing process, journaling. So I just wanted to hear a little bit about that. As usual, it's not compulsory for you to share, and this is not I'm not checking in with you in terms of how much you've done or not done. Just anything that you may want to express about week 5, and remembering that I use this feedback to going forward, to tweak the program if something was not working for you, or you struggled with something, or any of the videos you enjoyed or didn't enjoy. Even if you're not able to get into all the practices and maybe the reflection journals you're not getting to, just the breath exercises are very useful in our day-to-day lives. So like we start the session where we sit and we just do a quick body scan, connect with our breath. That literally takes us 5 minutes, right? And to use that anytime where you feel like you feel heightened emotions or anxiety, or you're going to be doing something that is going to be quite stressful. Maybe there's conflict that you're expecting. Just a few minutes, close your eyes, notice your body, notice what you're feeling, notice that anxiousness if it's there. Take your attention to the breath, start taking deeper breaths. So if you do that often through the day even, you will find things will shift, even if you're not doing all the meditations or the journaling. So I was reading something about 2 years ago, I think it was. There was this group of people that were going into poles more, and there's been other examples around the world, and they were doing yoga and meditation with some of these really, really like hardened criminals, and I think they created a little documentary about it as well. But the remarkable shift and completely like a whole new person emerged from these people that started to soften and to find their own selves within this exterior that had become the criminal, you know. And so it's yeah, I'm a little bit drawn to people that are struggling and people that have had hard lives, and yeah, I also work with people that are in recovery from addiction, because in there is that 2-year-old person, little person that got neglected, abandoned, you know, is still there. And a lot of people, if not most, that find themselves in these predicaments, where they've turned to crime or substance abuse or whatever it is because of a whole pain that they're trying to numb, or circumstances that they grew up in that were just not okay, you know, just very sad. So okay, so any other feedback around the content of last week? If not, we can move on. I'm just trying to think of what the videos were last week, which ones I found interesting. Well, all of them I find interesting, but some of them I really liked. Yeah. But anyway, I think that the videos are there to keep you intrigued and for you to delve a little deeper into the science behind mindfulness, and to also get to hear like real cases of how mindfulness has benefited people in many different circumstances.
Yeah, I love Eckhart. I love him to bits.
Yeah, I did too, and not everyone does, because he's quite a strange character. Like when he talks, those pauses that he does, like when he's been asked a question, are amazingly long, you know. And sometimes people think, has he drifted off to sleep or what? And it's because he is so in the moment. He doesn't say anything just for the sake of saying it. He doesn't just go with the automatic words that are coming up because of sort of a nervous response. He pauses and he contemplates what he's truly feeling and what the answer is that is, you know, authentic. So he has these very long pauses between his words, and yeah, it's amazing. I also love to watch his stuff. Okay, guys, so let's do a little bit of a practice, and hopefully just get some energy and some warmth into the body. And we'll do the breath exercise for the week, which is a nice, interesting one. And then we'll do a little bit of a meditation. So wherever you're sitting, if you're sitting on a chair, remember to take your back a little bit away from the backrest, to create some space for movement, as well as to lengthen the spine. So maybe sitting on the front edge of the chair, and then you can take your hands to your laps. Make sure both feet are grounded and your feet are hip width apart, not too close, not too wide. Okay, and then on the next inhale, try and lengthen the spine all the way through to the crown of the head. And then just release it with your shoulders dropping down. So the spine is now straight, the shoulders are down. We're going to work into the neck. So all we're going to do is draw circles with our nose. So visualize that you're drawing a circle. So if there was a paintbrush on the end of your nose, or your nose had some paint on, and you are drawing circles on a piece of paper. And then try and remember the breath. So maybe the inhale on the up movement and the exhale on the down movement. Listen out for any noises or sensations in the neck. And if you hear any creaks and cracks, it's totally fine. We all have them in different areas of our body. Maybe the circles can get a little bit bigger as it loosens up. So now my chin is coming quite close to my chest on the way down. My chin is lifting on the way up. Do one more circle in that direction and then change direction. Take the circles the other way. It's really important to keep the neck nice and loose and to take it in all the different directions that it can move. This stimulates the whole nervous system. One more circle, and then bring the head to stillness. Just pause for a moment, keep the eyes closed, and just notice what you're feeling. Any sensations there? And then slowly, perhaps you'll just notice how the sensations drift away. Always about awareness, bringing your awareness to what you're feeling. Okay, you can open the eyes if they're closed. We're going to take our hands out at shoulder height, and we're going to try and reach them in opposite direction, so always pulling the arms out the sockets. Okay, and then what we're going to do is on the inhale, we're going to make a fist. On the exhale, we open the fingers again. Fingers are nice and spread as well. So inhale, exhale, inhale, and then we're going to try and quicken it. So take some nice deep breaths, but then try and make it a little bit faster on the inhale and exhale. So bringing about a heat to the body. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You can close your eyes once you get the rhythm, just breathing nice and fast. And stop. Bring your hands down to your lap. Notice heat, notice your arms, maybe they're tingling a bit. And then we're going to do one more round. So arms up at shoulder height, reaching, pulling the arms out the sockets. And let's go. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Make it faster as you go. Maybe you feel your stomach pumping in and out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands down. Sure. I can certainly feel it in my forearms. Let the breathing slow down. We're going to come into a twist now. So take your left hand to your right knee. Left hand to your right knee. Then take your right hand behind you. So on the space on your chair, if you're on the chair, bring that hand as close to your sitting bones as possible. And then on the inhale, press down in that backhand so it lengthens the spine. On the exhale, we twist and look over the right shoulder. You can use your hand that's on the knee just to get a little bit more twist by pulling into that hand, not too much. And then we're just here for a few breaths. So with each inhale, see if you can lengthen the spine a little bit more. And each exhale, see if you can find another millimeter in your twist. Remember to breathe nice and deep, especially when we're in the twist. We're like wringing out the spine now. So we want the breath to help get rid of anything that's stuck. And then we're going to slowly unravel, nice and slow, come through to center. Pause in the middle for a breath. Then we go the other side. So right hand on the left knee, left hand behind. I'm on my fingertips as I'm Inhale to lengthen, pushing down into that backhand. Exhale to twist, looking over my left shoulder. Again, each inhale, a little bit more length. Each exhale, a little bit more twist. Breathe, deep breath. And then we slowly come through back to center. So we're going to do a movement with the arms with breath that I think we did in about week 2. So what we're going to do is, on the inhale, the arms are going to come out and back. So I call this cactus arms. So the elbows are more or less up at shoulder height, and they're moving back so that you're creating space across the front of the chest. The shoulder blades at the back are trying to meet. And on the inhale, we're leaning forward and reaching forward. So on the exhale. So inhale is opening the chest, exhale is rounding, chin comes down to the chest, and we're reaching forward. Okay, so let's give that a go. So inhale, opening up the chest space, shoulder blades to touch. Exhale, rounding, chin comes forward to the chest. Inhale, open the heart space. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, open. Deep breaths. Exhale, rounding. The entire spine is getting a nice stretch down. Inhale, open. And exhale, round. Stay with your breath. And now you can just close your eyes. You know what you're doing. Keep going. Always breathing nice and deep as we move. Just do 2 more each. And then taking your hands to your knees, slowly straightening the spine. Again, notice what you're feeling. Right now, I'm feeling a bit of like heat and sensation in the back of my neck. Okay, last bit of movement and breath now. Take your hands slightly away from you, palms facing forward and up. And then on the inhale, we're reaching the hands up, the palms come together at the top. If they don't touch, it's fine, but we're trying to get them there. And then we're trying to pull the body out the hips. And on the exhale, the hands come together, and we're bringing them past the face slowly to the heart center. Inhale, we're going to reach up. And exhale, nice and slowly, the hands come to the heart center. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, nice and slowly down. Inhale, reach up. Hold the breath at the top. And then on the exhale, we're going to side out with that same cactus arm. So exhale, side out. One last time, inhale up. Hold it there. And then when you're ready, just again down to your heart center, nice and slow. Watch your hand come past your face. So dip your chin as the fingers come past. Press your thumbs against your sternum. And then close your eyes. Just feel a bit of stillness within. You're welcome to drop your hands to your lap. Keep your eyes closed, and I'm going to read to you a meditation. It's a loving kindness meditation. So just bring your awareness to your heart space. So just visualize the area of the heart. And then think about somebody that you love deeply. Send all your loving kindness to this one person. Repeat the mantra in your mind. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from pain. As if you were talking to the person right now. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from pain. And now think about somebody for whom you have neutral feelings. You're totally indifferent about them. Focus on this person. And again, sending all your loving kindness to this person while we repeat the mantra in our minds. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from pain. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from pain. And now think about somebody with whom you struggle. And again, sending your loving kindness to this person with whom you struggle. Repeating the mantra in your mind. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from pain. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from pain. And now bringing your awareness to yourself. Repeat the mantra and send all your loving kindness to yourself. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from pain. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from pain. And finally, think about all living beings and creatures. And repeat the mantra as you send your loving kindness to everyone, everything, everywhere. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from pain. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from pain. Take a nice deep breath in and sigh it out. And when you're ready, you can flick your eyes open again. So we're going to do a breath exercise that's called alternate nostril breathing. A very, very good breath exercise. It helps to balance the hemispheres of the brain, and it creates almost like a defogging. So it's something that you can use if you know you're going to go into a space or a meeting that you need to be alert and a little bit free of the fogginess. So alternate nostril breathing. So how it works is you take your right hand. So I don't know if you're seeing it opposite. So right hand, and you use these two fingers, the middle finger and index fingers, and you place them in the space between your eyebrows. And then free up your thumb and your ring finger. These two must be able to move. And those are the ones we're going to use to block alternate nostrils. Okay? So right hand, index finger, middle finger, gently touching the space between the eyebrows. And then thumb and ring finger of the right hand are now free. The little pinky finger does nothing. It just hangs about. Okay. And maybe you've got a little bit of congestion in your nose. It's okay. Just take it easy. It should even help that. Okay. So we're going to start by using the ring finger to gently block the left nostril. And we're going to breathe through the right nostril only, just for a few breaths. And now slowly swapping, so blocking the right nostril with the thumb, opening up the left nostril. And we're breathing just gently through the left nostril. In a moment now, we're going to start to alternate. So just listen to the instructions. Okay, inhale through the left nostril, which is open. Then block the left nostril and exhale out the right nostril, so opening that up. Inhale through the right nostril, block the right nostril, exhale through the left nostril. Inhale through the left, block the left, and out through the right. In through the right, block the right, out through the left. In through the left, block the left, and out through the right. In through the right, block the right, and out through the left. In through the left, block the left, and out through the right. And then just letting the hands go and come back to normal breathing. Good. Just something to try. So all these different breath exercises that we do in this program have a different purpose, and they can be used for different reasons, but you know, it's good to practice them, give it a try, see which ones work for you, and then you can use them throughout the day whenever you need to have a breath exercise. Okay, so just quickly, this week coming again is about identifying the areas that we want to let go of. So sit with that, you know, go through your previous week's observations. If you've been journaling, go through your journals, sit with that and say, okay, which of these traits, behaviors, thoughts I want to try and let go of. And then put those down on your reflection journal. And then do the meditations as best you can. I've suggested that doing the gratitude meditation at least twice in the week, the YouTube one. It is a wonderful thing to do when you are in the process of healing, gratitude meditation. Yeah, and then also remember your joy list. Keep adding to your joy list. And you know, sometimes we struggle. What can I put there? But it's the little things that are important to notice. So if you did a meditation and you were slightly less distracted, that's a wonderful thing. That would be something I would add. If you were outside going for a walk and you happened to be drawn into something that you wouldn't have seen before, if you noticed something, a bird flew, something that perhaps in the past you wouldn't have paused to notice, That for me would have been something to put on a joy list. That's a joyous moment that you're starting to observe through the practice of self-awareness. So don't forget about your joy list. And the end of the program, it's such a nice thing to do, to look back on the joy list. The mantra for the week: I trust my inner wisdom and resourcefulness. And when we say that, and when we say it over, and we look at it, and we read it, and we say it, and if we say it before a time when you're going to need inner wisdom and resourcefulness, it does help. And these mantras, if they are repeated, start to slowly rewire how the mind works. And and there's science behind that. So do the mantras. I think right in week 1 I was suggesting having the mantra up on a post-it note or on some sort of note, and stick it where you are most of the day. If that's in your car, if it's on your computer screen, if it's on the fridge, or maybe you've got it in a few places. The mantra is helpful. And even if you, in this moment, if you say those words, I trust in my inner wisdom and resourcefulness, even if you saying, but I don't, or like what resourcefulness, or even if there is like a negative response, it doesn't matter. You just keep repeating it. If you keep looking at the words and saying them to yourself, that will shift. So mantras are really powerful things, even though they're just words. Okay. So I'm going to do Melody Beatty's reading for the week, and then we can close off. So just finding some comfort. The other group that I have, the in-person group, when I get to this point, they always lie down on the floor. They lie down and listen to the words so that they can be completely open and receptive. So maybe closing your eyes or whatever you want to do, just to be able to be in a state of mind that is open and receiving. Learn to heal yourself. Sometimes we trick ourselves. If we feel unhappy, troubled, or scared, we race toward what we think will make us feel better. In desperation, in fear, we grasp for something, anything to stop our pain. Finding that job, making more money, getting married, having a relationship. If only I get that one thing I need, then I'll be happy, we think. Then my pain will stop. Sometimes it's true that finding the solution to a problem improves the quality of our lives. Having enough money enables us to fix the furnace when it breaks. Having people in our lives we love and who love us can be an important part of our happiness. Having work to do that we enjoy and that we feel is worthwhile helps us feel good about ourselves. But when we're in pain, no matter what's causing it, the way to heal that pain doesn't come from outside of ourselves. External circumstances don't make internal emotions disappear. Even if we get what we think we want, the painful emotion we haven't had the strength or courage to face will still be there. The way to heal pain, the only way, is to feel it and then release it. Your pain is your pain. Your fear, desperation, and resentments are yours too. All these emotions belong to you. Feel them, learn from them, and let them go. Walk courageously each step of the path on the journey to the heart. Enjoy when the universe sends you its gifts, a lover, some money, a good job. But know the ultimate key to happiness lies not in the external things, but within you. Feel all your feelings. Learn to heal yourself. Okay, Colleen and Sharon, and people watching later, this is the end of the session. Welcome to turn on your mics or your cameras just to say goodbye, or any final words or questions.